Alright, time for another draftphysics.com, debatephysics.com, also video presentation. So I am going to do a response video to the Val crazy fuck, just on the physics part. So I have sent him a message basically saying, you know, clean up your act, quit doxing, and quit editing my penis. I mean, it's just so funny that, you know, a man talking about being a man, and he has to resort to editing somebody else's penis. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, that's a girl's move. But anyway, just it's ridiculous. So anyway, I did send him an email telling him basically, look, keep it up, and I'll involve your employer and your, you know, because this is bullshit. I don't have to take this kind of crap from you, you fuck. You know. Play a reasonable game or don't play any game at all, motherfucker. All right. So, I mean, all I want is the physics argument, you silly pussy. Okay? And so, you know, he made a website where he's supposed to be debunking me. He's not debunking anything. He's just writing a completely fake narrative, saying a bunch of fake things. That it's all bullshit. So what's the point? I mean, it's so far off the subject. But anyway. So I thought I would respond. He did a little bit about this 9.8 meters per second, right? Now we know what the formula is. We know how it works. We know exactly how gravity works. So, I mean, you can't really argue about the formula. I mean, it's 9.8 meters per 1 second over 1 second. I mean, both of them are 1 second units. You have to understand that, okay? That's the only way it works. It's how many meters in 1 second. That's the formula. That's the increase in velocity. That's how you define the velocity. You don't say 60 miles per hour, and you certainly don't say 60 miles an hour squared. 60 miles an hour squared. You don't say that. So I don't even know how you write this, right? I mean, 9.8 meters per second squared. I mean, is that is that their argument? You can't see that, but 0.8 meters per second squared. Is that really encompass this ratio? I mean, this is the ratio. This is the explicit thing both Galileo and Newton talked about. Okay, and we know what it does. Okay, we know this happens in 1 second. And we know this happens in 1 second, that there's only 2 seconds of the actual force affecting the object. So, I mean, there's just, how do you create this completely fake narrative that there's some squared element here? There's no squared element. It's 9.8 meters per second, 1 second, over 1 second. That's what it is. It can't be 2 seconds. It can't be squared seconds. It can't be any of that stuff, or you have to change the 9.8. It's a ratio. It's telling you what's the rate of change. You don't need averages. You don't need any of that nonsense. This is the answer right here. You don't need calculus. You don't need any bullshit. And that's what he's supposed to be responding to. So this response isn't on this subject at all. And so I thought it was worth just playing to point out they can't get anywhere close to the subject. The subject is this 1 second or not. Is this 1 second or not? This unit is 1 second. It isn't seconds. It isn't 9.8 meters per seconds. It's 1 second. It doesn't make any sense if it's not in a standard unit, because it's a standard amount of distance in a standard amount of time. Not any amount of time, and certainly not squared amounts of time. It's a time-dependent force. It's the same as paint coming out of a spray sprayer. You'd say the same thing. It's a certain number of paint particles per second travel across a certain distance. Period. This is completely uncomplicated, and they're somehow making it complicated? So it's not Newton's physics, let's be clear. None of the shit he's going to say in this video has anything to do with what Newton found, and it doesn't have anything to do with Galileo either. It's completely erroneous mush that doesn't have anything to do with the explicit relationship. It's 9.8 meters per second of increase in your velocity per second units. 9.8 here, that's your velocity right here. 19.6, that's your velocity when you hit the ground. Fact. Absolute fact. No squared anything.
When you see an object...
Ooh, okay, gotta put that on. Well, maybe we'll get rid of the background because it just gets in the way, sort of. Put the force there. Yeah, the way the universe actually works. Say volume.
moving, it means that its position with respect to you is changing as time flows.
So again, this idea that you measure the number of meters in units, in standard units of time. That's how you measure a velocity.
We say that the object has a certain velocity. So velocity is the change in position with respect to time.
Yeah, exactly. Respect to rational units of time. You have to have them in standard units, standard amounts, quanta, Planck length, whatever it is. You need a unit. And it's one of the units. Unless you say something else, the S means 1 second. The S under here means 1 second. Unless it says something else, it's always the default is 1. It's technically 1 meter and 1 second. 9.8 times 1 meter over 1 second. That's the formula.
In order to make calculations, we start with the mathematical definition of the so-called average velocity.
So there's nothing, average velocity has absolutely nothing to do with gravity. It's so simple. It's in these clear, easy to understand timed units. In 1 second units, you get a certain amount of force that you collect, and the force is represented by your velocity. And as Newton stated, twice the force, twice the velocity, 3 times the force, 3 times the velocity. Okay, that's Newton's physics. This horse shit he's talking is just that shit they made up in the 1800s. Has nothing to do with what Newton knew and what Newton understood. And it certainly doesn't have anything to do with what Galileo proved.
Average velocity is the displacement, namely the change in position divided by the time of the displacement.
Right, so average velocity is not going to get you 9.8 meters per second. It's going to get you 4.9 meters per second. So the formula wouldn't even be relevant if you're going to use an average velocity. Silly idiot. And the average velocity, you know where it's going to be? It's going to be 1/4 of the distance. 1/4 of the distance, you're going the average velocity of the entire path. At 1/4 of the distance, not at half the distance. Clear indication that something's up. No symmetry there.
Namely, the arrival time minus the departure time. It follows that average velocity is a...
So again, that would be of no value unless you made that the standard unit and said, well, how many units do I have total of that amount of time? So obviously the more sensible thing to do is to put it into a relationship in 1 second units. You don't put it in 1.7 seconds or 0.6 seconds. That would be kind of a silly thing to do, is to have the ratio in some kind of uneven unit. So bullshit again. We already know we have a perfectly rational relationship. 9.8 meters per second of increase in your velocity per every 1 second. That happens to you every 1 second. It perfectly matches the reality. And all of this horseshit is just that horseshit.
Length per unit time, which implies that with SI units, it is measured in meters per second.
Meters.
There's nothing you can do against it.
Okay, so again, where have I said there's something wrong with a meter per 1 second? And that's what that is. It's not meters per seconds. It's not meters per seconds. It's not any of that horse shit. It's a number of meters per 1 fucking second. You lying sack of shit. I mean, these scientists, to lie about what Isaac Newton revealed is just so damn fucking disgusting that they get away with it, that you morons think that's good science. Lie about the greatest scientist that ever lived. Lie about what he thought, what he understood.
Now we can extend this definition to that of instantaneous velocity.
So again, who cares? Instantaneous, we already know what the velocity is at every point in this equation. We can just change the seconds and we can figure out exactly how much I got to change that top number. I changed the amount of time, I just changed the top number proportionally. The end, there's nothing complicated here. I don't need any instantaneous velocity. I know 1/4 of the path it's going 9.8. I know when it finishes it's going 19.6. And I damn well know it's not 4 times the fucking energy. I know it didn't get 4 units of gravity, it only got 2 units.
By taking the limit of the average velocity when the time interval becomes infinitely small.
So again, why would I bother with infinitely small time intervals? We're talking, look, he points out that I don't believe it's 9.8 meters per second squared. Okay, that I believe it's 9.8 meters per 1 second. There's no squared anywhere. That's the controversy. That's what you have to debate, retard. And nowhere in that debate is anything, we don't have to worry about any infinitesimal distances.
Of course, Gary, this involves calculus, which...
So, more horse shit. There's no calculus needed. The equation was provided by Newton. No, he didn't need calculus to discover it, and you don't need calculus to understand what it does. It's so goddamn simple. It's just telling you, like, it could be saying 60 meters per second of increased velocity in 1 second, or I could say in 1 hour. And again, where would I ever say I'm going to drive my car an average of 60 miles an hour squared? Of course I wouldn't say that, because it doesn't happen in squared units. It happens in 1 hour units or in 1 second units.
Goes beyond your cognitive capabilities. But the point is that this instantaneous velocity is still a length per unit time.
And you can say that over and over again, and that's not in dispute. I'm the one arguing it's per unit of time. You're the one saying it's some sort of ambiguous time, some kind of time squared, some kind of number squared. What number are you squaring? What number are you putting in front of that second? If you're not putting a 1 there, then you're not telling the truth.
And is therefore measured in meters per second.
Yeah, and so where did I say anything other than that? Where? Where are you lying sack of dirty shit? I mean, really, I mean, straw man what? I mean, it's just a completely fake argument that I don't think it's in meters per second. Of course, that's what we're using. Newton used feet, okay, used seconds, feet per second. 32 feet per second. I think it was 32.
Now comes the acceleration. This is not...
So the acceleration is just your velocity. You either add velocity or subtract velocity. You either add 9.8 meters per second of velocity, or you can subtract 9.8 meters per second of velocity going the other way. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no such thing as acceleration. There's just an adding or subtracting of velocity. Velocity is the only thing that is real. Acceleration isn't a real thing. It's just a change in velocity. Velocity is the real thing. Acceleration is just a useless, silly word.
The same thing as velocity. You see, Gary, when a car leaves from a traffic light...
All right, so what does this have to do with gravity? The formula for gravity, that's what we're arguing. Whether it's 9.8 meters per 1 second or 9.8 meters per second squared. That's the argument. Are you somewhere near the subject? Obviously not. And what's your argument? You're at a stoplight and you're going to accelerate. Well, if you accelerate to 50 miles an hour, your theory is that you're going to use 25 times the gasoline. So do you think that actually happens, moron? Are you really stupid enough? Is that one of your Catholic things? That you actually believe that crap?
Where it was addressed and ends up on the interstate, its velocity changes. This change in velocity takes some time, and this is what leads to the definition of average acceleration.
So again, more nonsense. This isn't about any average acceleration. We already know what the net product of 1 second of the force will be. We already have the number. There's no issue over what the number is. The only thing that's at issue is whether there's some reason to square the seconds, to square 1 second units. Obviously, there's no good reason to square a 1.
Average acceleration is defined as the change in velocity divided by the time of the change.
Right, and if you do that, you'll get 4.9 instead of 9.8. So why would I do that? It won't give me the right formula.
That is the definition. There is nothing you can do against it.
So again, it's not a definition of anything real. It's not the rate of change isn't 4.9. The distance is 4.9 in 1 second, but it's not the rate of which you've increased the velocity. So what value does it have? Oh, that's right, no value whatsoever.
And it follows from it that average acceleration is a velocity per unit time.
And it's a completely different number than the 9.8. So again, the average velocity is only 4.9.
If we substitute the fact that velocity itself is a length per unit time, we find that average acceleration is a length per unit time per unit time.
Yeah, there we go. Per unit time per unit time. What the fuck could that possibly mean? It's in 1 second units. If I go 2 seconds, then I have to change the 9.8, this ratio. But if I multiply it by 2, like I got 2 units of it, this is in 1 second units. So, sorry, you can't see that. There can't be any argument about it. No rational argument. This is in 1 second units. It's in 1 second units. If I go 2, then I multiply by 2. So I have to have 2 of these. I can't just say per second because it's not a real thing. We know everything can be per second. Lots of things can reoccur more than one time. So what? That doesn't mean I square it. Per second doesn't give me any excuse whatsoever to put a square on here as if the number is squared. It isn't squared, the 1 isn't squared, and certainly you don't square the 2 either, because it's only 2 units. It's not 2 units squared. God, these people are so full of shit.
And guess what? Dividing 2 times in a row by the same time ends up being the same as dividing once by the square of the time.
Right, so I'm completely contending there's absolutely no excuse for saying per second, or presuming how many seconds there are ahead of time, or any of that. How do you know? If it's 4 seconds, do you square the 4? If it's 10 seconds, you square the 10? What the hell is this nonsense? It doesn't have anything to do with reality. There's no reason to square the number of units, the number of 1 second units. Something falls 4 times the distance in gravity, it only takes 2 seconds. It's only in the gravity 2 units of time. It only gets 2 units of force. Those facts I just said, those statements are absolutely true. And if you're going to argue against them, I'm going to argue you're a fucking lying idiot. Because they're just absolute facts.
The same results holds when we extend this definition to that of instantaneous acceleration by taking the limit.
Well, what's this instantaneous thing? You can't use the word instantaneous and the word acceleration in the same sentence. You really can't. And a physicist using the word instantaneous doesn't make any sense anyway. That's like using the word random. You can say apparent randomness, but you can never say something's random. And you can never say instantaneous because nothing fucking happens in this universe instantaneously. Idiot.
It over an infinitesimal time. So acceleration, whether...
How the fuck could that possibly have anything to do with this argument? Please, just, none of you people can be honest enough to say, what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
It is an average or instantaneous is measured in meters per second square.
Says you. So that's the whole thing in controversy. There's absolutely no reason to square the seconds. There's absolutely nothing that happens that indicates the seconds are squared. It's just completely made up horseshit. So you can create your fake formula. But it doesn't happen in reality. It's only 2 seconds of gravity. It's only 2 seconds of force. It's only 2 units of force. Again, if it was paint spray, or it was wind, or it was water, or it was anything causing the increase in velocity, all of those things would be time dependent, a certain amount moving through a certain amount of space in a certain amount of time. They're all going to be constant like that, and you can only get hit by so much of it in a certain unit of time. That's it. There's no squared function. You don't get to square how many units of paint there are coming out of the paint spray. The paint spray is a fixed amount of paint. It goes across a fixed amount of distance in a fixed amount of time. And you're just a sack of shit liar to say any part of that is squared.
You can cry about it as much as you want and keep making a fool of yourself.
No, you're the one that's going to have the shit on your head, okay? You're going to have the outhouse built on your fucking grave. Because you're absolutely wrong. You're so full of shit. You're plagiarizing badly Newton. You're editing Newton, okay, and pretending he said things he didn't say, pretending a formula was written in a way it wasn't written, all right, and pretending it's real physics when it's goddamn fake, phony, fraud physics, and it doesn't have anything to do with what can explicitly be drawn. You're saying there's 4 units of force collected. How did it collect 4 units of force in only 2 units of time? You fucking piece of shit.
On the entire web, the universe doesn't care. Acceleration is still measured in meters per second square.
Says you. Okay, how did he explain anything? Did he explain why I would do that? Per second allows them to square the seconds? Saying it could happen per second. Therefore, any number you put there, I'm going to square it because it could happen per second. Maybe it only happened for 1 second. Maybe it only happened 2 seconds. Why would I square the seconds, right? There's no fucking reason. Ugh, disgusting.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
I'm doing something about it. I'm revealing just what frauds you people are by drawing it and explaining rationally what everybody should be knows. Everybody knows it doesn't take 25 times the fuel to spin something 5 times as fast. Everybody knows that a generator at Niagara Falls, you can't spin it 5 times faster and get 25 times the electricity out of it. Nowhere does this shit work. It never does any work, this kinetic energy crap, and it certainly doesn't do work in the simple process of dropping 2 objects. You drop a 1 mass, 4 units of distance, and you drop and it's going to go twice the velocity. Not 4 times the velocity, twice the velocity. And you drop a 4 mass, 1 unit of distance, and it's going to gain 1 unit of velocity over a mass of 4, so it's going to collect a lot more energy. It's going to have twice the fucking momentum, and it will not be the same energy. Twice the momentum can't be the same pressure. It can't be the same force. It can't have the same impact. If I hit a door with twice the momentum, I'm going to break it more assuredly. I hit a quarterback with twice the momentum, I'm going to knock him down more assuredly. This is just such bullshit science. Preached by absolute psychotic morons.
I'm not asking you to believe me. Just use...
Yeah, yes you are, you fuck. Where's your evidence? Where have you proven that the 4 mass moving 1 velocity has the same energy as the 1 mass moving 2 velocity? Where have you proven that? Where have you banged that into anything or done any experiment whatsoever, you fucking liar? Where has your science, previous to last year, proven that fact? What video do I go to see the proof?
Your calculator. Take 1, divide it by 2, and divide by 2 again. You will find the same result if you take 1 and divide it by the square of 2.
And why would I do any of that?
Bonus! You will also find the same result if you take 1 and divide it by 4. Poor loser.
Oh, poor loser. He keeps doing that shit, right? So again, I should point out he did send another pointless email, right? That's just go cry to your mom, okay, and link to the video he made, this crappy video. And then he sent another email. Where the hell is it? Well, anyway, where he did another update to this stupid page of his. Like, I could be bothered reading his page. It's got 43 ads on it. I mean, it's so obnoxious. Oh, amazing nonsense. It's just, he's a despicable cretin. And that's all he is, and a moron. And the physicist part just proves that any fucking idiot apparently can get a physics degree. But really preposterous nonsense. So he's not going to be able to draw it. He's not going to explain how, yes, I'll concede that the 4 pounds dropped 1 foot has twice the momentum, and he's going to argue that it does the same exact amount of work. So something with twice the momentum can only knock down the same number of bowling pins. It can only, it puts the same pressure on a door. It puts the same pressure on a lever. It puts the same pressure on anything you can imagine that you can apply pressure to. Somehow something with twice the momentum somehow applies the same exact pressure. I mean, it's so stupid on its face. I shouldn't have to make these fucking videos. And this is a professional fucking physicist with a little laughing and crying icon, emoticon. Jesus Christ. All right, anyway. It's just so bad. Ugh. So where did anywhere in this horseshit did he explain what the good reason is to take this simple formula of 9.8 meters per 1 second over 1 second and change it into 9.8 meters per 1 second over second squared, or 9.8 meters per second times 2 squared or 3 squared or 15 squared. So however many units of gravity, timed units of gravity you get, they square them. And that's how they get these preposterous numbers, right? They're saying twice the velocity is 4 times the energy. So they squared it. Why? 3 times the velocity is 9 times the energy, because they squared it. 4 times the velocity is 16 times the energy, because they squared it. 5 times the velocity is 25 times the energy. They say, they never show. Ever. They'll never show it. It'll never happen in a race car. It'll never happen in a rocket launch, because rockets get more and more efficient the quicker they get through the gravity. It won't happen to a meteor that falls into the earth. It won't happen to something flying by a gravitational body. None of this shit they claim will ever happen in any real place in this universe. And yet they preach this crap. And then he's a religious kook to boot. A hypocrite, no doubt. I mean, no doubt. I mean, he's working in a Catholic institution. Do you think he's really a Catholic? Hilarious. Could be. I mean, he's a moron, so why not? And he's obviously a monad, a maniac, and a solitaniite. A solitaniite, yeah. A true Leibnizian. Fucktarded, obnoxious, retarded shitbrain. A dickhead. As properly portrayed.